I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Yeah, second.
First and second, any discussion?
I didn't hear it. Did you say that again?
I said we're looking for approval of the minutes.
Okay.
We have a first and second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. First up in resolutions, resolution appointing individuals to the Oswego County Land Bank Corporation of Directors. We have a list of Shane Bradmore, Honorable Lee Walker Jr., Joanne Nazar, James Dowd, Ed Gilson, Dan Bregwick, Angela Clary, Mark Tereso, Paul Stewart, Marty Webster, and Linda Egan. And these are, the term for these will all be ending on 12/31/26.
Mr. Chairman, I'll be abstaining.
Okay,
I make motion for approval.
I second.
first and second, any discussion?
Are these, so those appointees, are they compensated?
No.
It's all voluntary?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed?
I abstain.
That abstains. Thank you. Next up, we have a resolution authorizing expenditure from the Development and Efficiency Fund related to the advanced nuclear power. And this is where the county has an active campaign to convince state decision makers that Oswego County is the best choice to develop nuclear power generation. And informative social media video was created that explains the county's advantages at this site and tells that the public is favorable. Bill, would you like to?
Yes, this is a recommendation from Brown Weinrod, who are our people in Albany. When we responded to the RFI for advanced nuclear for communities, part of that response was a very good video testimonials from people from the community and businesses from the community as to the advantages here and why the people here support this. One of the things that we've noticed as we've been advocating for this is that whether I'm in Albany or in Washington, first question that's elected leaders or their staffers ask is, do your people want this? What this would do is convert that video response as part of the response into a publishable on the web and another media format, and it would be placed in Empire Report, which is a online or digital newsletter, online clearinghouse of news and other social media posts that electeds in Albany and their staffers rely on almost daily and check it out every day. It's the best way to get to them. It's a way for them to see opinions from our constituents rather than, a letter from us. And so for a minimal amount, they thought that this would be a good move to do, especially now with the budget going in Albany and everybody's there and clicking on this thing daily.
Very good.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with this
Okay,
for a couple of reasons. One, for the potential stimulus to our economy, and two, because we did hire a company to advise us, and it's one of their advisors.
well, first,
I'll second.
and a second. Is there any discussion?
I have one.
Yes.
The only question is whether or not, I know you said you had an advisor meet with you and tell you whether or not there was some, to get this ad from this company. But is there any kind of like competitive pricing Were you able to get anything,
This-
anybody else?
This would be a sole source is the only place that does this, plus it's below the bid thresholds for us to need to do that. And our advisor, he doesn't get any of this money. This is simply for the placement. The product is all done. The Operation
okay.
Smoot County, paid for and developed the actual video. So this isn't for the video, this is the ad placement.
Okay,
Or it's kind of an ad, but it's really it's a link and images within Empire Report that will take the staffers directly to this video and other information.
So Empire Report, I spent 10 years in state assembly, and Empire Report, you live and die by it. It's like the Twitter of the news world. It's the same thing as Drudge at the federal level or Punchbowl now that's coming out, but I mean, I read all day long. I'm on it.
so highly recommend.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is anybody who's in Albany is going to read the Empire Report.
We can't get that more than 3 days.
Well, we can, but it would just cost more.
In 24 hours, who's watching it at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning?
Oh, trust me. I don't sleep.
Yeah, and and part of this is they report back all the engagements and the volume of people actually looking at it. If it looks like it's something we want to repeat, we repeat it.
Is this business days or weekends off?
It's,
Do you know the days that it's running?
it would be during the week. It would be during the week.
Okay, we got a first and
If
second.
it
Any
doesn't
other-
stipulate that, we'll stipulate it.
It's not by the hours either, Joe. What it is you pay by the day for Empire Report. And what it'll do is it'll put you either in the top, the middle, or the bottom, and they rate the whole thing. You'll probably be at the top in the middle of your video.
This is the placement is at the very beginning.
I'm good for
We have a first and second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. We have a report here from, historian.
So the historian falls under the clerk's office. Your report was in your packet. I'm happy to say that with Deb Allen as our county historian, we have came forward by tremendous leaps and bounds with the amount of activity, public outreach that we're doing. Really, if you haven't been to the county fair in the past year or two, you should go up. She's really transformed and helped out the historic building up there. She's working in great partnerships with all of our historians and historical societies across the county, something that we haven't always seen in the past. Quite frankly, it's a breath of fresh air to hear people come up to me and say, "Oh, thanks, Deb did this for me," or "Deb did that for me." She fits in great at the record center, helps out actually our staff up there as well. And truly, with the 250th celebration coming up, she's planning some remarkable events and helping spearhead that endeavor as well. I will entertain any questions. If there's specific ones, we can get you answered at a later time. And I will let you know, I had to have her condense this because this was a 6-page report, and I said, about 2, so.
Anybody have anything? Okay, thanks, sir. Next up, we'll have the county clerk, please.
So this is the month of annual reports for us. I will say, usually I have my 2 deputies here to answer everything, but I'm second term in and they said take the training wheels off, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing because they were always there with George for 32 years, so I don't know. We'll see if I can screw this up, but anyways, no. I have a list of the improvements we made to the office. If we just want to go through those quickly, we're just modernizing and continue to file everything that comes into our office. Financial protections, we implemented the positive pay 100%, so every check that goes out has to be manually entered by me, myself. I don't need to let my deputies do that. So I just want to make sure it's a good checks and balances, and that will help us from checks being cashed that aren't supposed to be cashed. We updated our financial reporting to New York State, so everything's electronic and goes through ACH. We were one of the first clerks office in the state to be able to do that. We finalized our digitization thanks to this committee in the ARPA funds for the investment of all of our deeds back to 1795. They're also obtainable online. through searchiqs.com. So at our motor vehicles, just switching gears a little bit, we continue to enhance the customer service obligation, including our courier service where we go out and collect from dealers throughout Onondaga, Jefferson, and a little bit into Wayne and Cayuga now as well. Continuing to add those dealerships as well, because every dealership we add is more revenue for the county.
That seemed to go well.
What'd you say?
That seemed to go well. They shut it down to reboot the
Yeah,
system, right?
leading into that, we're just going into our drives program. We had to shut down for a few days. During that time when we were shut down, all my staff was able to, and the DMV side was able to get all their HR trainings done and everything. So that's out of the way, so we don't have to worry about that. We did have a little bit of a training session in what they call the sandbox, which is like a make-believe type doing transactions and stuff. Unfortunately, the training wasn't the best that the state could have gave. We it's a huge state, a lot of moving parts to this program, millions upon millions of documents that had to be transferred over. I give them credit for implementing the new system because we sorely needed it. We're about 30 years behind, and with the new program, we're probably only about 10 years behind. But we've successfully taken that on. I think we have most of the kinks, knock on wood, taken care of. I will say I was very proud of my DMV deputy, Kelsey Cronick, and our seniors, because we were the only county in the state to be able to balance the second day. Nobody else was able to balance. How we did it, we were kind of like on a whim and a prayer, but we put it together. When it came out at the end, we're like, this is it right. Then I went and did the numbers, and I'm like, I think we found it. And I was emailing on our listserv, and other clerks were just like to the point where other offices were going to shut down because they went 4 days without being able to balance. So we actually, Kelsey helped some of our neighbors get them up and running and move in the right direction, which I'm happy to have there. And that leads me to retaining our DMV staff. Over the past several years, we've really been able to retain those employees, keep them. That saves on our training and make sure that the knowledge is staying there, because every transaction is a little bit different in DMV, and the more transactions they have under the belt, the better employees they are. Our record center, we're continue to implement our scanning, which is 5,800 banker boxes full of documents in the record center, and we're continuing to scan them, destroying what we can, and saving it digitally. We've also added the IQS program, which is my records management program I use in the clerk's office. A function of that is with the pistol permits. So from 1981 to the beginning of pistol permits, which is in like the late 30s, early 40s, all of those documents were at the record center. And if somebody came in to add a firearm, we'd have to have a delay with the documentation, getting it from the record center down here and then back up. Now we're scanning all of them in so we can just do it right at the clerk's office itself and save the staff time as well. Moving forward, you can see how we're set up. Nothing really changed there other than the fact that this committee's help, I've been able to add a senior to the 3 areas downstairs, which is that mid-level section, a little bit more oversight in the office. And those are my more experienced clerks who have a little bit more experience in those specific areas, such as the large records room with researching. They really, that's their forte. And then the front desk in the court. I will say it's taken the whole first term to get the office where I feel it should be. And we're continuing to do our training. And when I say training, we're not just staying in one section anymore. We're rotating around, because if there's something I found when I came in, it's, hey, can you go over here and do this? And they weren't able to because they didn't have the knowledge. So at this point, I'm about 75% of the way, 60 to 75% through cross-training everybody. And by the time probably about 2 years, I'll have everybody cross-trained on the whole. It's not easy. You can't walk off the street and do these jobs. It's very specific. Ed?
Yeah, are you fully staffed up to your?
I am. I take that back. I have one spot in the DMV, and I'm holding on that right now until all my staff is pretty much trained on the new drives program. Then I'll bring a new employee in. Lines aren't to a point where it's a problem right now, so I'm just holding out on that so we can get this drives program under everybody's belt first. Yep, so the next one, you can see the staffing levels. And then, of course, the page that everybody looks for, and right down at the bottom of that graph, you'll see we were fortunate enough to be able to bring in $1.6 million in revenue to the county. This was a pretty decent year when it came to that. You will also notice the next page that we're up to 25.6 million worth of money that flows through the office. That's grown $2 million over the last 3 years. Part of that is the amount of mortgages. The price of the mortgages are much higher. Transactions are much higher in that regards. But it also, it's pretty noticeable that our pistol permit fees, they're holding pretty steady. I just want to draw your attention to that. At one point, we were up to almost 60,000. Right now, they're at 48,000. They hit 60,000 when the governor put in the Second Amendment laws. I'll entertain any questions that you have. There's some graphs in there to show and how much transaction retention fees from the DMV. You can look at the numbers on your own. You can call me. You can reach out to me. And just to go along with that courier service we're offering for the DMV, those numbers are the last page of this chart.
Anybody have any other questions for Terry?
How many DMV offices are in Oswego County?
3.
3?
Glasgow, Fulton, and Oswego. And just so you know, if you call me for something with DMV, Joe, I do not have a state DMV computer in this office, so I do have to call one of the DMVs to get any information. More than happy to do it, but I just want to let you know I don't have it because it costs between $7,000 and $8,000 a piece for state DMV computers, and it's not worth me having one here. But I can access it. Just gotta let them make a call.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Terry.
Yeah, very comprehensive, thank you.
The office has come a long way.
We're trying.
Yeah.
Next I have Strategic Initiative Department. There it is.
Good morning. Just a real quick one today. So for the ARPA close-up, I think I gave a pretty good update last month, but I'm going to give you just a total. So we have a total of 96 external ARPA projects, 15 of which are on pace for completion in 2026 and to be closed out in 2026. There are 23 that are completed and just need to be closed out, and we are doing about one of those a week. We finished 4 of those last month. 53 projects have been completed and closed out, so at this point we're no longer working on those. And then there were 4 of them that were canceled by the applicant, so the project actually never moved forward. And then there's 1 of them that is canceled, and we are attempting recovery of funds. That's a total of 96 projects. And so at this point, we have no reason to believe that the 15 that I talked about will not be completed and completely closed out by the end of the year. So we are on pace to close out. I also sent a link to the new website that has all the tracking to Betsy to send around to the legislators as well. So you'll have that in your email.
Sounds good.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
The four projects that were projected, where did that money go?
So we knew that early on in the process.
Okay.
And so although they technically went through the approval process by the committee that reviewed them, the money was never allocated to them.
Okay.
And so it was reallocated to other projects. So it's included in the 96.
Okay, thanks.
And those are typically ownership changes, or there are a couple other situations on 4 of them. But
Thank you.
Anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, give us a little update on the broadband.
sure. So we are working our way through. I think last month or the month before, I had mentioned just how huge of a project it is. I don't think it's a surprise to anyone. The original project we had looked at doing was about 345 miles. It was one of about 16 broadband projects that the state was working on throughout our state, all of which need to be completed by the end of this year. It's essentially the infrastructure funds that funded the broadband projects are the same ones that funded the ARPA funds and the other ones. So they all have the same deadline at the end of this year. So we've been actively working. Kyle Beckman in my office is kind of our head of the broadband project. He's done an amazing job. We brought in a consultant who worked at Dank in the North Country, who designed their entire broadband networks, and he has really been helping us walk through the process of all the tiny little pieces that need to be done in order to get lines on poles. And not take it too long. I'm more than willing to kind of get detailed if anybody wants them afterwards as well. But there were 7,000 poles in our county that needed to get a line put on them. And so we have been working for probably the last 8 months. Every one of them is owned by National Grid, 50%, and one of the telecommunication companies, the other 50%. And in order to get one line put on one pole, you have to go through an entire application process. You've got to get permission. They've got to actually go out and inspect the specific pole to make sure it can take another line put on it. And if it can't, if they don't believe it can't, you then have to put together a whole plan with engineered drawings on how to move every one of those lines that are on that pole onto either a new pole or into another location. Typically, they're also saying that the old poles are no longer, some of those poles are 30, 40 years old. National Grid is saying, we really don't think a 45-foot pole satisfies it anymore. So now we need to put a 55-foot pole up there. So it's a huge process times 7,000. We're working with a company that works directly with National Grid, and they've been really helpful in the process. So a lot of words to say. At this point, our entire state, almost $650 million were earmarked for these projects. And in our entire state, not a single house has been lit yet with this project, because that's how long that process takes. They call it make-ready, and that make-ready process can take 80 to 90% of the whole project. In fact, they tell us that putting the actual cables up on the lines can be a week, and you're spending 14, 16, 18 months to do the rest of the piece. So as far as how we're going through with it, it is a slog, without a doubt, but we have really good people working on it, and we meet with the state 2 to 3 times a week to talk with them about all the specific details. We've got a spreadsheet that is, if it was printed out, fill this whole room. And I think we're moving forward optimistically. There's been some revisions to the project, and again, everything has to be completed by the end of this year. So the original project that we thought about 18 months ago is not the exact project we're going to get done when we finish it. Ultimately, the state came back to us and said, there's no way you're going to get all those poles lined and everything put in, because there's only so many companies that do that work. And now take our project, which is almost $30 million of state funds, and then added to that the other $650 million worth of 16 other projects, all competing for the same vendors to do that work. So you have to imagine the price has gone up, the time has cut down. But we still anticipate that we're going to finish this project. And again, it's look a little bit different, and I'd be happy to talk to anybody about kind of the more specifics.
What's our risk?
That's a good question. So the project is again, it's altered. The state has said that there's some additional funds available. As of today, we don't have any county funds in the project. It is 100% funded through the Connect All, which is ESD funds, and through our ARPA funds that are earmarked for it. So I would say the worst case scenario, project doesn't go forward. We don't get that $24 to $25 million from the state. They would give it back to the federal government, and we have spent money, and that money has been spent out of our ARPA funds. So I guess worst case scenario, we would spend down the ARPA funds, which again, we can't at this point put for anything else anyway. But I don't believe that there's more than, worst case scenario today, I don't think we have more than about $1 million that would be out. And with that, we were able to purchase the 345 miles of broadband cable being delivered a couple times a week down at our board or B&G building. And we got that for I don't know how we did such a good job on it, but we got almost $3.5 million of cable for about $1.5 million. That's ours. So I would say our worst case scenario is the project doesn't go forward, and then we would have an asset that is actually worth about 3 times what we paid for it. So.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Jim didn't mention that the make-ready contractors have to be approved by National Grid, and there's only 7 or 8 of them, which further creates delay because only 7 or 8 firms have to look at these, and they're looking at them for the whole state. I anticipate that there will be at least 1 additional resolution, if not 2, one to allow approval of the make-ready work. I think there's 64 applications that are in for various routes. Only 8 have been prepared, and they're time sensitive because once they're approved, then they can start hanging cable. So that we've had various calls. No, we'll probably have a make-ready resolution and maybe 1 more on the technical side related to that. Not through this committee, though.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I have one.
Yes.
You said that the project will be different. How much, will it still be 345 miles or might?
No, it'll be substantially less miles, most likely. One of the things that the original plan to do with this project was to go really to the front door of every single person who was on the FCC's list of unserved or underserved. Now, part of that over the last 2.5 years of this project kind of developing has that then, for example, up in the North Country, Verizon has consolidated with Frontier. And because of that, they're actually serving areas, they're building out at no expense to taxpayers, certain areas that we were originally going to do. So we have retracted certain areas. We found out that City of Oswego has a company that's coming in to build them out completely. So we've retracted back out. So what we've really tried to do is strategically find the locations that need to be served immediately. There will be additional funds. We have no doubt in our mind. And so what we're really trying to do is put together, they call it middle mile, or if you think of kind of like a highway loop, so to speak, that would go through our entire county, which would then allow us to partner with private companies. So it would be taxpayers, it would be competitive private companies who could come in and then serve kind of what we call laterals. They would build laterals off of it to serve the communities. We would act as kind of the infrastructure piece, the main loop, but then potentially we could partner with them down the road. So the original plan was us to just do everything. But again, because of some of the timing constraints, because there are other companies that are doing it at no cost to taxpayers, we've come up with, I think, a more strategic plan that can get completed by the end of the year. Because that is one of the things, there's no extension. It's one of the only projects we've ever worked on where there's just no option of extension.
Okay, any other questions?
Do you have any of it complete? Is there any of it?
No, like I said, there's nothing in the entire state that's been completed. We are all working toward that kind of last bit where we get all of the foundational piece put together, all the engineered drawings, and then we get a company to come up and put it on. So it's work, and then go and get out there.
Is that the same thing that happened in Fulton with Verizon? They put in the fiber optic?
It is fiber optic, and it's actually, I think Windstream is the company up in
Windstream.
Yep, in Windstream. It's very, very similar to that. Now, Windstream did it at no cost to taxpayers. This is all taxpayer funded, but companies like Windstream are the ones that we want to partner with down the road to build out the rest of the area of our county.
Is Fulton the only one that has the Windstream service now?
I think
In the county?
I think there's some others. Is it Plascat? Yeah. Plascat. Oswego is working with a company called SLIC, S-L-I-C. They're coming down to do that, the Oswego out. And then there's a company called New Vision that actually does Parish. So we have other companies that are all doing this. But our hope is that we work to coordinate all of that. One of the rules of this program is that the county owns and continues to own that infrastructure, that piece that we're going to build. So there is a long-term plan. Soon this all goes to plan and we get this thing built by the end of this year. We now own it. It's an asset that we can now work to rent out space or to bring in other companies to serve the rest of the community. But it could also be an income stream if we were to do that. That is part of our plan.
Good.
I know Verizon upgraded their systems out in the North Country here. They put in Highlands also, but they've expanded their tower system. So you can go online directly off the towers, and they're coming along pretty well with that. So it's my town, some of the towns, the Verizon people have improved communication already. So it's already done.
Yeah, that wireless option, although we did not use it in our original design, is being used in a number of counties throughout the state and could be an option for some of those hard to reach places that it just wouldn't make sense. You know, some of these areas we've seen, especially up in the North and East area, it could be $2 million to serve 2 houses.
That's what I have in my home.
Did you like it?
Wonderful.
Okay.
I can see the tower. That's but yeah, they're on 10-mile radiuses.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you, Tim. Next up, we have real property updates.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of quick things. That report to Phil, I should have that to you by the end of this week on the senior exemption impact. So far, it's looking like if we just adopt that sliding scale that increases it to 65% for the really low income seniors, it's not really a hit to the full value tax rate more than a couple of pennies. So it definitely looks like that's a good option to adopt. The city of Oswego and the city of Fulton both put that through last month for their upcoming assessment rolls. So they'll have that available for city taxes. And then we should have it available for the next round of county taxes in 28, because it would be for the 27 assessment rolls. So other than that, today is taxable status day observed, because it would have been yesterday. This is the date where assessments are computed based on the ownership and condition of properties. It's also the date that we reconcile our tax map. So all the changes that have happened to the tax map over the last year get reconciled together. That process takes a couple of weeks, but sometime mid-month, our tax map will be updated, both the physical ones and the ones online. The other thing that's going through right now is the contract for the real property website, the one you look up assessments on. That is going through the process right now, so that we can finally update that website since it changed ownership. We're just saying with the same company, Schneider Geospatial, that purchased the company that serviced our website before. We're just staying with them, and that upgrade should happen soon. I'm optimistic that it'll be a good change, because it looks very nice. So, if there's any questions on anything, though, happy to answer them.
Anybody have anything? Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next up, we have the public defender.
Thank you. At this point, we are finishing up reporting, ILS reporting, which obviously is directly tied to our funding. We're also working on the Council of First Arraignment, they call it CAFA, getting that in order. So all of that is finalizing right now. My office, as I have said for the last couple of months, our big push right now is recruiting. We just had a third-year law student accept for employment after law school in May. We have 2 more offers out there. If they were to accept, that would fill up the current spots that we have funded. We have 2 more potential candidates that we may make offers to. That would depend on whether we have spots or not. If we don't, then I will most likely be coming to this committee to ask that we discuss and start the process to fund the additional 10 spots that were approved but were unfunded in the budget. So again, we're working on the recruiting piece, and the importance of that is to take the load and the onus off of the assigned counsel program.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you. Next up, we have assigned counsel.
Thank you. Yes, as Brad had stated, we are in the middle of the reporting season. I have 4 reports due. We finished 2. I have 2 left. It's always insightful. Those reports require very specific data, so it's always insightful. It's always nice to take a look at it and see, if we can cut costs anyway. Having said that, I have received several vouchers that have been very large. Those are from family court cases, placement cases where kids have been in foster care. Those have been over the course of 4 or 5 years, so it's no surprise. And then we also have received several bills for trials that the public defender had conflicted out of. So it's not easy to see those. Just so everybody's aware of the voucher process. When a voucher, which is a bill from the attorney, when it comes into our office, I review it line by line. They are required to charge per decimal points to the hour. So I have to review that line by line. If it is over the statutory limit, which is $10,000, I make it go to a voucher review committee, which is a committee of attorneys that are also on the panel who have practiced in trials or placement cases. So they have knowledge of what those kinds of cases entail. They review it. They come up with a recommendation. I'm a part of those discussions. It goes to the judge, and then the judge can either override our determination or agree with it. So we have 3 pending with the committee. I will be following up with those this week. We've also received an influx of requests from the attorneys to submit late bills. That is a very prevalent problem I'm finding this year. I've denied them. We're getting a little pushback. We've gone back and forth. I talked to Rich last week about it, actually. So it will be interesting to see how that is approached. We had a judge sign an order demanding us to pay a late bill, but after communicating back and forth, that judge revoked that order. So I'm happy to say that that's on a good track. But I will be definitely keeping my eye on that.
Okay, anybody have any other questions? Ed?
Yeah, do you have any preview of these vouchers coming?
So the attorneys are required to use an online system to bill. So I can go into any attorney's profile and look at what they've entered. The problem is the attorneys often don't enter any information until they're ready to submit. So I do get a trial list from county court that I'm often cross-checking to see if our attorneys are assigned to those cases, and I'm following up with the attorneys. But I don't receive anything like that for family court. So it often is a surprise. And it often is shocking, but you know, like I said, we review it line by line.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. Next up, we have the Board of Elections.
Good morning.
Morning.
We were pretty busy in February. We had the party change cutoff date, and after that, had to get all our enrollment numbers together for the signature requirements. We held a 2-day training last week with Cayuga and Onondaga with our vendor. We hosted in our new area. Basically provided a refresher course and also addressed the even year law with the double-sided ballot, 2-page ballot. I think Matt and I are both confident we will be able to get away with the double-sided ballot. Certainly depends on how many propositions and offices are going to be on there, but the vendor did provide us instructions on how to do that successfully, and we're hoping that is the way it's going to go. We don't want to go to a 2-page ballot, but petitions are out circulating right now, so as far as we know, we're just waiting for filing time, and
there will be a full site move. Granby, the 2 full site moves. We're the Topaz Towers will no longer be a full site. Those folks will now vote at the Elks Lodge. It just makes more logistical sense, and there aren't a ton of voters who participate down there anyway.
and we have plenty of room over there.
There's plenty of space. And if we needed to, we could send board employees to help the folks who live there residentially. And Granby Community Center will be closed for the year for renovation, so we'll be moving that to the town hall at least for the current year, if not longer. The DMV's change in computer system affected us as well, because our voter registration system is directly connected. Our experience with it has not been as smooth due to no fault of anyone in this room, but it is what it is, and they're still working it out. But other than that, it's sort of the calm before the storm, before you all start coming in and filing paperwork with us next week.
Right.
They had the deadlines and the automatic voter registry. All of it was compiled into 1 week.
Right before enrollment.
Right before the enrollment numbers, so it's been a challenge.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you. Rich, you've been executive.
Before,
Go
if I
ahead.
could. There has been a lot of attention given to current National Grid electrical bills. I've received several calls. I have recently, and yesterday, a constituent's bills here from July of last year through January of this year, with staggering increases in kilowatt hours and some other charges are on the bill. And these are skyrocketing. We're seeing this in the news every day. What I would like to do is I would like to bring National Grid's Public Relations Committee into this committee to explain to us what's happening, why it's happening, so we can fully understand it. Now, whether we can do it next month at this meeting or if another venue is needed because of attention given to this once we publicize it. But I would like permission to contact them and get this started.
So I have to see how we can do that legally. I know my own bill itself has gone up. It was doubled last month.
Yeah.
This
mine too.
month it's probably gone up another 20%.
Yeah.
Over what it was. And my kilowatt usage is way down.
Yeah.
You know, we tried to conserve and I'm like, I got the bills another $100 and some higher than it was the month before. We used a third less electricity. It's ridiculous. You know?
It's transmission.
That's what, that's what he's found here. too.
It's all
Actually,
transmission.
they've tried to conserve, and the increase in the price per kilowatt's gone from 0.6 cents to 20 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah, my transmission increase is about double.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know how we have to do that legally or.
There's no prohibition on reaching out to Grid to have them appear before the committee voluntarily and report on what Legislator Gilson asked if they're willing to do that. That's fine. It would just be a report on what's happening and why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I can't imagine what the county's bill is, you know, gone up over this year. It's gotta be unbelievable.
Yeah.
So it's something we definitely gotta look into. I don't know, you know, the best steps that we can take. But,
Not much you're gonna be able to do about it.
I think, you know, if we
That's about it.
have them explain it, we understand it first.
Yeah.
Now, I know Senator Waldick's office is working on this as well, and Senator Parker's office, but, and I'll actually extend the invitation to their offices. They may want personnel to come as well.
good.
But it's really crazy because my bill went from $250 to $550 in a month.
Right.
And my neighbor who owns a mechanic shop and runs all his air compressors and everything else is only went up $200.
Yeah.
So I'm paying $200 more than he is, and I only have a house.
A lot of them are thinking it's that smart
Yeah,
meter.
it's a new meter. That's what happened.
That's part of it, along with the state and the governor's
They said something
climate
about the,
initiative.
you know, stray voltage can be picked up on those, and mine all goes through the farm with all the barns and everything. Nothing's running at the barns, so we're wondering if the stray voltage isn't being picked up on my meter, because that's what an electric engineer was telling me that I should never got. Well, they didn't tell us it was an option. I guess it was fine for him.
Right,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
They knocked on
You
your
were
door
not, yeah.
every other week wanting to put it in.
Right.
Well, I think them presenting to us is going to help the public understand it, get that information out there.
Right. Can we get some figures too, Phil, on how much the county's bill is
Yes.
going up?
Yeah.
So bring that into
Okay.
you know, the meeting, so we'll have some
So
idea what it's
after
costing
I-
the taxpayers besides this, you know?
After I talk with them, I'll ask them, they may want a bigger venue as well, that we could
It's not only the,
include more people.
it's not only the kilowatt hours though, it's that delivery.
Delivery
Delivery
fees,
stuff.
Delivery
demand
rates
charges,
have gone up,
you know.
Demand.
Those wires have been there, it's not like to replace them.
Thank you.
Their poles replaced on our upper money for the project.
Yes. I had an individual come to our door last night, Sunday night, 7 o'clock. It's dark out, but he's got this paperwork, and he's saying that I need to see your electrical bill because you've got credits on there that's going to be able to lower your electricity. And you need to go to your bill and you have to look in the corner about these credits as to whether you're getting them and you get a discount. Well, I don't know who this guy is, but he's got a thing on, and he said that he would be back, and I didn't know if anybody else had heard or anybody said anything. It was a
Who is
very,
representing?
he was very, I mean, it was like a, it reminded me of when somebody came through and wanted to have us have a different charge on our transmission lines. To go with somebody else, go with another company.
Right.
Yeah, that type of a thing. But it was just strange, and I thought, I'm not getting out my National Grid bill right now. I mean, it's dark out. I had to turn the light on. The dog's going crazy, and I'm like, nah.
Sound like a scam to me.
Well, I was just wondering if anybody else had, because Guy had of course, anybody can have a lanyard, but you know, he had a lanyard, and he didn't really
I think I had the same guy like a year and a half, 2 years ago come and try to do that. I
Yeah.
just didn't have time for him. He kept coming at dinner time and I was like, look, I'm not
Yeah.
eating my dinner. I'm not-
Well, that's it. He came at a, as I
But he
said,
made an appointment with one of my neighbors and I don't think it ended up saving them any money, but it made this guy money.
yeah, so I just wondered if there was somebody else out there. Okay.
Thank you.
Rich, you?
I'd request an executive session, please, for proposed or pending litigation involving Concealed Carry Improvement Act, Lockhart, and Dignian cases. Those three items.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion for that.
Moving the executive session.
Second. First and second, any discussion? All in favor, all aye. Opposed? Keep it in like-